Hi, my name is Vick, and today my topic is on outdoors and mental health, nature's healing power. Let's quickly jump into a brief introduction about myself. Currently, I work on NSF-funded research and spearhead grants for my own water research, in which I research the effects of heavy metals and how exactly to remove them from drinking water. And this closely links to mental health, as oftentimes heavy metals will alter a developing brain's chemistry, which will then make certain individuals more at risk of developing certain mental health disorders. Furthermore, I'm also a varsity Lincoln Douglas debater, and recently I placed third in New York State. Let's talk a little bit about my passion for youth mental health. I've been featured on multiple podcasts and the UN, speaking out about youth mental health and what we need to do to directly address this pressing issue. Furthermore, I'm the founder of Fish Hut, a nonprofit dedicated to improving youth mental health by improving access to the outdoors, something so uniquely important. First, let's talk a little bit about the issue, or the youth mental health crisis. It's important to note that this crisis is only getting worse as time passes by. Among adolescents aged 12 to 17 years old, the CDC states that 15.1% have had a major depressive episode, and 36.7% have had persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness. And this impact spirals in to the hospitals too, as children in mental health crises have recently been surging into hospital ERs. Furthermore, an estimated 49.5% of adolescents have had a mental health disorder at some point in their lives. This number is so important because almost half of all adolescents have had a mental health disorder. It is important to note that these adolescents are our future. We're going to become the world's leaders one day, which is why it's so important to directly address this issue, as it not only affects youth within the United States, but it affects youth all across the entire world. Now, let's quickly jump into a few of the main types of mental health disorders. So first, we have anxiety disorders, in which youth are oftentimes overly anxious about performing certain tasks, as well as mood disorders, in which a youth's mood is often at either extreme and it will change extremely fast. And finally, personality disorders, in which youth have personality traits that cause problems in both school and social relationships. So it's important to note that all three of these disorders not only affect youth, but also the people around them. And it doesn't truly allow youth to reach their true potential. And these disorders, simply put, limit the potential that a youth actually has, which is why it's so important to address them. Next, let's talk a little bit about the main question, which is how should we work towards active prevention and rehabilitation? So with these two main things, prevention and rehabilitation, we pretty much address all of youth mental health because we're preventing youth from getting these mental health issues and also rehabilitating youth who are currently facing these mental health issues. So to address this question, let's first answer why the outdoors, or more specifically in the context of fish hut, why fishing? Well, one of the best ways to actually get youth outdoors is through an activity that they actually like doing. And for these reasons, I focus on the rehabilitative effects of fishing. Numerous studies have been conducted on the mental health benefits of fishing. For example, the National Alliance of Mental Illnesses showed that fishing has significant mental health benefits, and Harvard Medical School published a research article outlining the benefits of fly fishing on the brain. Now, let's quickly talk about a little bit of rhetoric and what fishing actually does. Well, when I cast a line and wait patiently for a bite, I'm given a chance to practice mindfulness, a word that's coming up more often nowadays simply because mindfulness will allow youth to cope with stress and anxiety. Furthermore, when I began fishing, I made mistakes and often felt like I would never catch a fish. But practice and determination allowed me to enjoy the journey of mastering a new skill, which is something that's so important for youth to master, both practice, determination, patience, and mindfulness. Next, let's introduce Fish Hut. Well, here at Fish Hut, the first thing that we do is place fish huts, which are brightly colored boxes which contain fishing rods and reels near bodies of water or in schools and libraries so that youth can fish at leisure. Furthermore, we host fishing clinics, in which we provide fishing awareness events at parks and nature centers. For example, at New York Central Park are the largest ever free ice fishing event that we recently hosted. Next, we also have fishing contests, in which we organize these contests for youth and kids to encourage them to learn how to fish. Now, let's talk about quickly some results and key takeaways. So, we've had extremely positive feedback from the communities that we've been serving. For example, after the events, youth would oftentimes come up to me and tell me how much they actually liked fishing. And this was shown through their behavior too. After events, youth would stay behind oftentimes an hour or an hour and a half after while we were packing up, just so that they could continue fishing. Furthermore, we've raised over $20,000 to support Fish Hut and impacted over 15,000 youth. Now, let's quickly go back onto the topics of prevention and rehabilitation. Through prevention, by allowing youth at a young age to be introduced to fishing, they're able to develop and maintain a core skill that they can use in their adulthood and teens, which allows them to cope with feelings of anxiety and stress. Furthermore, we also help with rehabilitation, as youth, when they're fishing, alleviate their feelings of stress and anxiety, which helps them rehabilitate and develop a skill that they once again will use in times where they feel both anxious or stressed. Now, let's talk about how important improving access is. Well, improving access to the outdoors is critical to allow for the improvement of youth mental health. And I'll talk about this a little bit more in my next slide too. So, what can teens do to help themselves and others? First, you can spend time outdoors, whether it be fishing, skiing, or jogging, or simply an activity that you like. Spending time outdoors has been proven to reduce stress and combat feelings of anxiety. Furthermore, you can advocate for equitable greater access to the outdoors. And this may include things such as building parks near or in your community or improving transit to certain places so that more people are able to have equitable access to the outdoors, which is something that's so important because access to the outdoors reduces stress, anxiety, helps with depression, and health. Next, you can also take breaks from schoolwork. Every hour or so, you can try to look outside and practice mindfulness or embrace yourself in the outdoors, which truly allows, once again, to improve your mental health. Now, let's quickly go over a few of my references. Let's go over a few of the acknowledgements that I would like to make. The first being my family for supporting me throughout my journey. The second being all of the wonderful attendees of our programs and events who have truly helped shape my perspective on mental health. And the Global Health Leaders Conference for giving me this opportunity to speak. Finally, I would like to thank the audience. Thank you for taking your time out of your day to listen to what I have to say, and hopefully you took something away from my presentation. Thank you, and here's my contact information.